Hey, when it's Kenji, I'm gonna make a garlic cream and pickle pizza. I had a pickle pizza when I was in Racine, Wisconsin, at a place called Wells Brothers a little while back. It was pickle and bratwurst, actually. You know, since then I've been looking around and seeing, oh, that pickle pizza is like actually having like a little moment here. But the pickle pizza I've been seeing around is like made with this garlicky, creamy garlic sauce and dill pickles, and it looks pretty good. So I thought I'd give it a shot. I'm not really following a recipe. You know, the basic premise here is you make like a sort of like ranch style sauce that goes on here. You can put dill in there if you want, you know, dill and black pepper, make it sort of a true ranch, or you could sort of just leave it kind of garlicky as a sort of more of a garlic sauce, which is what I'm going to do. So I got a few cloves of crushed garlic. I'm going to add some granulated garlic as well. I like the combination. By the way, it's late night and people are sleeping, so I'm not going to talk very loud. I like the combination of fresh garlic and granulated garlic when I'm making sort of like a garlic dressing or dip, because I think they both offer something a little different in terms of flavor. And I wouldn't say, you know, one is necessarily, they're different, you know, like it's not like granulated garlic is just a, you know, a poor version of fresh garlic. They have a fundamentally different flavor from each other. All right, so some mayonnaise. Equal parts about mayonnaise and sour cream. I'm eyeballing everything here right now. I'm sure if you Google around, I do like sour cream, you can find a recipe that someone wrote with precise measurements somewhere, or probably dozens of recipes that are all sort of similar and don't cite sources or anything like that. But here's some salt. Essentially, I'm making what would be kind of my ranch dressing minus some lemon juice and minus the dill. I'm going to add also a little bit of olive oil to this one. I'm also using generally when I make ranch I like to use yogurt, but in this case I'm using sour cream, which is the sour cream or buttermilk, you know, which are the sort of mainstays of ranch. To make it extra ranchy, I'm also going to add a bit of this MSG crystals, which you may use or may not use if you don't want to. Let's see how that tastes. Bold, garlicky, creamy, delicious. All right, so I got some moderately overproofed pizza dough here. This pizza dough is overproofed, so it's not gonna stretch out quite as thin as I would want it to do, but it'll still work fine. Honestly, if you have the time, you know, which I actually honestly do, but I just didn't feel like it. If you have the time and you have overproof pizza dough like this, you can ball it up again and let it proof a second time, and it'll tighten up a little bit and behave more like, you know, properly proofed pizza dough. But I'm too lazy for that right now, so I'm just going to use it as it is. We'll see, maybe it'll come out just fine. So if you looked at my previous video, I'll leave a link below for my, you know, same day dough New York style pizza. This is the other half of that dough, so it's a same day dough. I made it this morning. I baked off a New York pizza in the oven here earlier this evening, and now it's after my kids are already asleep, and I'm baking this pickle pizza because I don't want this extra dough to go to waste. And because I was kind of curious about pickle pizza. So you see, I made a little rim for the crust. I'm now going to stretch it out, and you can find the recipe. I'll leave links below. Oops. I'll leave links below to the other video where you can find the exact printed recipe in its description. It's a very simple, straightforward dough recipe. 500 grams water. Sorry, 500 grams flour, 12.5 grams of salt, 5 grams of sugar, 20 grams of vegetable shortening or oil, 300 grams of water, and about 2 to 5 grams of yeast. 90-degree water. You mix it up, you let it rest half an hour to a couple hours, and then you divide it into 2 balls, and then you ball those up and give them a final proof before you stretch them out and do what I'm doing here. That's the basic idea. All right, So I'm using semolina. You don't want too much because you don't want semolina to burn. But one of the nice things about semolina is that a little bit goes a long way, especially compared to, say, AP flour. And it also doesn't burn quite as easily, so I'm not too worried about it. A little goes a long way, basically because it's a little bit coarser, and so it acts more like ball bearings. And also because it's coarser, it takes a little bit longer for it to hydrate, so your dough will not get sticky as quickly. All right, so we're going to start with garlic cream. This is the first time I've ever slathered mayonnaise on raw dough. I know I'm known for slathering mayo in places where one would not think to slather mayo, but this one is a first for me. But I can't imagine it's going to be bad. Still nice and loose. I've also got a little bit of freshly grated mozzarella cheese, low moisture mozzarella. Whole milk is what this is. What I would suggest you look for. When you're making pizza, at least when you're making this style of pizza. If you're making like a Neapolitan pizza, you want fresh mozzarella. I'm gonna go pretty light on the mozzarella just because there is so much creaminess going on here already. But just a little sprinkling. Now let's go. Pickle time. What am I gonna do here? Pull out some pickles with a fork, I guess. These are dill pickles. So, I have in my fridge, I have both some homemade lacto-fermented kosher dills, as well as some of the boobies, which is my favorite store-bought brand of pickles. But I decided for this kind of pizza to go with a more sort of simple, non-lacto-fermented dill, something with a more of like a state fair flavor profile. So I just got these crinkle cuts here. Actually, you know what? In the interest of science, let's do this. Let's put the crinkle cuts on half the pizza. And on the other half. Let's do some boobies. Oh yeah, those are some good pickles. I'm gonna go a little bit thinner on these. Make it a little more coverage. I don't know, I feel like some of you are probably supremely grossed out by what's going on right now. And honestly, I don't know what it's gonna taste like at the end. I think it's gonna taste good. The pickle pizza I had in Racine was great. It was a weird one. It had raw onions. It had Wisconsin bratwurst, obviously. It had pickles and it had mustard. So, how do you like that for pizza? But it tasted good. So we'll see how this one goes. You know what I'll also add onto there? Just a teeny bit of this red jalapeno. To me it's like pickles and peppers go together like baths and bubbles, like dogs and cats in a world of mass hysteria. All right. And we're still nice and loose. There we go. All right. This one I'm going to do in the outdoor oven. So I will take you out there. All right, so I got my Uni pizza oven preheated on the highest heat so that the stone can heat up. And now I'm going to turn it way down so that the pizza has a little bit more time to sort of crisp up. And in we go. Now, in the previous video I showed you how this New York pizza dough fares when you do it in a home oven with a baking steel. With an outdoor pizza oven, you get a much faster bake. So you'll see that difference. Hold on a second. So I use my wooden peel to launch, and then I use a metal peel. I need a wider metal peel for this because that's a turning spatula for like Neapolitan pizza. So let's see how we're doing. So we got a couple of these big bubbles. That's expected with this kind of dough. You can pop them or you can leave them. Bubble that big I would probably pop, but if it was any smaller, I would leave it. Looking good though. Getting some nice even browning. I think I'll go a little bit more heat just to get some more, little bit more color on the top before the bottom starts to burn. You know, so with pizza, it's great when you have, you know, I actually prefer using these gas ovens, outdoor ovens to the pellet or the wood-fired ones, just because, you know, if my pizza, I can adjust on the fly. So if my pizza looks like it's cooking too fast on the bottom and the top needs a boost, I can pump up the heat. If it looks like the top's about to burn, I can lower it down. So you get a lot more sort of fine-tuned control over it when you have the gas option like this. Let's see how our bottom is doing here. Looking excellent. It's beautiful. I'm using my outdoor pizza oven. Of course, you know, I understand not everybody has one, and by no means are they necessary. Usually we cook pizzas in other types of ovens, including home ovens. So, you know, the outdoor pizza oven is great if you want to get a sort of specific results, but you know, if you can't make good pizza in a regular oven, an outdoor oven is not going to save you. They certainly are fun tools to have, though. All right, let's see where we're at. I think our base is looking great. Our top, almost there. Needs a little bit more color on that one side. Pump up that last side. I think we're good to go. There's our landing spot. It's good to me. Let's take a look at our. Oh yeah, look, here I'll flip it over and show you. It looks beautiful though. Let's try a little sliver of this guy and a little sliver of the boobies. This is gonna burn my mouth. I can tell already. But So check out that. Undercarriage are beautiful, huh? I gotta say that garlic sauce is actually really excellent. It cooks down so that the garlic loses its raw flavor. Certainly doesn't taste like mayonnaise or sour cream. Let's try this one. Well, I do think it's the right call to use the, the sort of more standard supermarket sliced pickles as opposed to the, the fancier lacto-fermented ones. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals. This was a dill pickle and garlic cream pizza, sort of New York style, outdoors. Get the recipes and links and stuff below. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.